Hey everyone, how's it going? I am just doing some final dirt grade on this house we built. I did some videos, or I did a video when I was framing the roof of this house, but now I'm doing the dirt work. I gotta fill in a lot of dirt here on the other side of the house, kind of that way. There's a huge pile of dirt, and I'm just gonna move it around. There's another pile of dirt up here that I'm working with right now, and I'm just kind of filling in this little alleyway between the house and the block fence here. And what I really just want to do in this video is give you guys a few pro tips on the skid steer. So I feel like I'm qualified to give some pro tips because I'd say the skid steer is my best machine. I've put a lot of hours in the skid steer, so I just kind of want to give you guys some of my basic tips. This is for anyone out there who's, basically just a beginner or a homeowner that's renting a skid steer or using a skid steer for the weekend or just doing some basic work. So, tip number 1, work backwards and complete as you go. That's kind of what I did here. You'll notice that the tracks tear up stuff really easily. So when you're really trying to get your work flat, complete yourself as you go and kind of back drag as you go, and then just kind of back out and work backwards. That way you're not tearing stuff up with your tracks. And then another trick I have, or another tip I have, if you're doing like gravel grade, if you're preparing for a slab or something, just go straight in and straight out. Try to minimize turning as much as possible, especially if you have a tracked machine like this. It's just going to absolutely tear up your workspace, so you want to minimize that. I try to do most of my turning out on dirt or somewhere where I don't need it to be perfect. And then where I do want it to be perfect, I just kind of work backwards, like I keep saying, and just really use my bucket to kind of back drag things and go straight forward and straight back as I need to. And that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, keep your bucket full when you want to make a flat spot. Keep your bucket full of dirt. Actually, dump a load of dirt and then come back to the same spot with a full bucket of dirt and just kind of push that dirt around. Because if you try to push dirt around with an empty bucket, it's all just going to go into your bucket. So one of the tips I have for beginners is just keep your bucket full and then push dirt around like that. And you'll know what I'm saying once you kind of get going, but that's another really helpful tip. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, let me get my arms up here. You'll notice when you get in a skid steer, it's really bad visibility. It's horrible. When I was learning the skid steer, I remember just going super slow and being worried about hitting everything. But here's a quick tip that'll help you out a lot. When you're going backwards, one thing, if there's nothing above you that you're gonna hit, you know what I mean, always watch above you for the buildings around you and just stuff around you, but that kind of is common sense. One tip I have is when you're going backwards and you want to have a little extra visibility, raise your arms up a little bit, because that part of the arm usually sits down here and it kind of gives you a big blind spot. So one helpful tip I have is raise those arms up and you'll be able to see a lot better. So yeah, anyway, there you have it, guys. Just 3 quick tips on the skid steer. And by the way, I'm in this Takeuchi skid steer, and I have to say, this thing is like the Lamborghini of skid steers. I got this screen here that kind of gives me all my gauges and whatnot. I got a radio in it, heating and air conditioning. It's got really sensitive joysticks. I've used Case, Bobcat. I've used all the major brands of skid steers. And it seems like Takeuchi has more sensitive controls, which takes a little bit to get used to, but I prefer it, honestly. I think this is my favorite skid steer I've ever used. If you have one of these, you're pretty spoiled, because this screen here also turns into a backup camera when you're backing up. It's also got a mirror here. I know the Bobcat skid steers I've used don't have this backup mirror, rear view mirror. But anyway, guys, I hope you're all having a great day. I'm just kind of messing around over here in my little toy. But yeah, hopefully this helps someone out there. And just kind of wanted to give you guys a little taste of what I'm doing. Have a great day. Bye.